Hello beloved souls, thank you for tuning into the Spiritual Podcasts channel. This channel is all about good vibes, positive energy, and meaningful conversations. To keep this space welcoming for everyone, we kindly ask that comments stay respectful, kind, and in the spirit of the content shared here. We reserve the right to delete any comments that don't align with this intention. No hard feelings, just protecting the vibe. Thanks for being here and spreading the light. Please be cautious of anyone claiming to represent Spiritual Podcast and asking you for money, donations, or personal information. We will never ask you for money through comments, messages, or DMs. All official updates and content come only from this channel. If you see suspicious activity, please report it immediately. Stay safe and thank you for being part of our community. If you enjoy the video and its content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Please be kind to other viewers of the channel. The video is about to start.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a private dinner in your capital. A seemingly ordinary gathering of political and tech titans. We've all seen those headlines, those photo ops.
Right, pretty standard stuff usually.
Exactly. But what if this seemingly mundane event was, according to our sources, far more than just small talk and canopies? What if it was a white-hot signal flare? Maybe a monumental turning point in something far grander than what any mainstream media outlet might report.
Intriguing. So not just another DC dinner then?
Not according to this perspective, no. Today, we're taking a deep dive into an extraordinary perspective on a recent high-profile White House dinner. Our sources for this deep dive, originating from the YouTube channel GFL Station and attributed to Ashtar Command, suggest this event signaled an irreversible shift in the balance of power on our world.
Okay, Ashtar Command. For listeners who might not be familiar, how does the source describe them?
Right, good point. For those less familiar, Ashtar Command is presented in this material as a benevolent extraterrestrial fleet, specifically the command overseeing Earth's spiritual and societal awakening process.
Got it. So a very different lens on current events.
Absolutely. This is a truly fascinating take on events that many of us simply brushed off as, political maneuvering or maybe industry lobbying.
Indeed. And our mission today is really to extract the most important insights from this unique perspective. We'll explore why this meeting is being called a milestone in the Great Awakening of planet Earth, how it reflects profound shifts behind the scenes, and what it could mean for you as we navigate what's described as an accelerated plan for humanity's liberation.
Liberation, big word.
It is. And we'll examine the specific details, the alleged flips of key figures, essentially. High-profile individuals purportedly changing allegiance from a so-called cabal to a white hat alliance.
Okay, let's clarify those terms too. Cabal and white hats.
Sure. For clarity, when we refer to the cabal, the source material describes a secretive, powerful group historically manipulating global events for their own gain. Think the traditional shadow government concept, but maybe with deeper roots, according to the source.
Right. And the white hats.
Conversely, the white hats represent a benevolent counter-alliance working towards humanity's freedom and enlightenment. Military, political figures, maybe even off-world assistance involved, according to this view.
Gotcha. So a clear good versus evil dynamic being presented.
Pretty much, yeah. And we'll look at the fascinating strategic implications of these alleged flips. Of course, we'll approach all this while maintaining an impartial lens on the provided material, just laying out the narrative so you can absorb the full scope of this, quite intriguing story.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start at the very beginning with the message itself, the one from Ashtar Command that sets the stage. Our source introduces itself as Ashtar, commander of the Galactic Federation fleet overseeing Earth's awakening.
A pretty bold introduction.
Definitely. And this message is specifically intended for the brave ground crew of light. Now, for those unfamiliar with this particular lexicon, ground crew of light, or light workers and starseeds, as they're also referred to in this context.
Yeah, you hear those terms a lot in these circles.
Right. They're terms used within this community to describe individuals believed to be here on Earth, specifically to assist in humanity's spiritual evolution and the transition to a new, higher vibrational era. Sort of like spiritual first responders, maybe.
That's one way to put it, and the core message from Ashtar Command.
It's incredibly potent. It says, tremendous events are unfolding on your world, and critically, the balance of power is shifting irreversibly to the light. It declares that humanity's liberation is accelerating.
Accelerating.
Yes, and this White House dinner is being presented as one of the undeniable signs of this profound shift. Not just a sign, but a key one.
What's particularly striking here is that Ashtar Command explicitly states the dinner's significance wasn't just a simple gathering, like it might have appeared to the casual observer.
Right, not just handshakes and photo ops.
Exactly. It was, to quote directly, a white-hot signal flare in the dark, specifically meant as a clear message to friend and foe alike. That's quite specific.
Friend and foe alike. Okay.
The source portrays this event as a milestone in the Great Awakening of planet Earth, suggesting that anyone with eyes to see, meaning those who are attuned to these spiritual and energetic shifts, maybe more intuitive types, would understand its profound implications beyond the mundane political or social interpretations.
So it's like a coded message embedded in a public event.
That's the idea. This isn't just a piece of news. According to this material, it's a cosmic announcement, a declaration of intent and progress from a higher unseen level.
And who are these key players at the table sending such a powerful signal? Well, you had the USA frontman, your current American leader, as the central figure as you'd expect.
Sid, the host.
But what truly grabbed the attention of our sources was who flanked him. The man from Facebook on one side and the man from Microsoft on the other.
Okay, those two. That is interesting given the history.
Right. Now, initial observations from those who watched clips of the dinner highlighted something striking. These individuals, once perceived as powerful allies of the old guard, meaning the cabal we just mentioned, were smiling and at ease in the USA frontman's presence.
Smiling and at ease, which hasn't always been the vibe, let's be honest.
Not at all. This certainly suggests that unlikely companions came together in harmony, a rather unexpected visual for anyone who's been following their public personas and the known political and, well, industry rivalries.
Precisely. The assertion from Ashtar Command is that deals have been done behind the scenes. That's the core claim.
Behind closed doors.
It explains how long-standing rivalries and public feuds between these tech giants and the administration were, maybe just in a single night, replaced by toasts and declarations of cooperation.
Wow. That's a fast turnaround.
The source stresses that such cooperation is unprecedented in recent history, especially given the public opposition these figures previously demonstrated towards the administration.
Unprecedented is a strong word.
It is. It then encourages us to consider a broader perspective, the idea that true victory often involves former adversaries standing down and joining the new order of peace. Kind of a strategic reconciliation.
Like after a war, maybe.
Exactly. To illustrate this point, it draws an analogy to post-World War II reconciliation, where former enemies eventually shook hands and rebuilt nations together. The alliance's goal, according to this narrative, is to end the war with as little further suffering as possible, not to prolong it out of spite.
So pragmatism over revenge, is that the idea?
That seems to be the implication, a strategic approach focused on minimizing collateral damage and transitioning to a new era with, well, efficiency.
That's a fascinating reframing of conflict resolution. But one might ask, does this reconciliation mean there's a lack of accountability for past actions? Because these figures have certainly faced criticism.
That's a crucial question, and the source is very clear on this point. Swift justice awaits if promises are reneged upon. These aren't get-out-of-jail-free cards.
Okay, so there are conditions.
Big time. These deals, we are told, involve these individuals making amends in significant ways. This isn't a simple pardon, but rather a contractual agreement that includes providing restitution, testimony, knowledge, and completely ceasing harmful activities.
Restitution, testimony, knowledge.
Yeah.
They're quite specific.
It is. So while it's about reconciliation and moving forward, it's certainly not about letting past actions go unaddressed, according to this source. The implication is a structured process of redemption that serves the greater good, rather than just individual forgiveness.
Now, here's where the narrative takes a truly intriguing turn, because the source delves into what it calls the shocking transformations of these individuals, literally depicting them as flipping to the light. Let's start with the man from Facebook.
A household name, for better or worse.
Right, a figure whose name and company are synonymous with global communication, but also with, let's say, significant controversy. His past allegiances and conflicts are pretty well documented.
Oh, yeah.
He had been at odds with the USA frontman's vision for years, with threats of legal punishment and intense political pressure looming between them. Remember all that?
Vaguely, yes. Lots of tension there.
And he was widely known for enforcing heavy censorship and aligning with the previous regime's narratives, using his platform to shape public discourse in ways many found problematic.
The whole fact-checking debate.
Exactly. Furthermore, he had been long criticized for data misdeeds or manipulation, raising huge questions about privacy and influence. So this is the context we all recognize, right? A figure entangled in power struggles and public scrutiny.
But then, at this pivotal dinner, a profound shift in his demeanor was observed by many. Those who saw clips commented that he seemed like a different person.
A different person? How so?
The source describes a man whose tense defensive posture, the one so often seen in his public appearances, congressional hearings.
Yeah, that kind of stiff look.
That was entirely gone, apparently. In its place, there was an almost boyish enthusiasm and relief. His shoulders relaxed, he was leaning in to speak earnestly with the USA frontman, and even laughed genuinely at the First Lady's remarks, something scarcely seen before, from a public figure often perceived as reserved or even, aloof.
Boyish enthusiasm and relief. That's quite a change.
It's presented as a key observable indicator of an internal shift, suggesting maybe a significant burden had been lifted.
And the public manifestation of this flip, is it just about body language at a dinner? Or is there more?
Oh, there's more, according to the source. It's said to be quite stark, providing tangible evidence for the claims. According to brave truth investigators and corroborated by our source, he reached an understanding with the alliance and switched sides not superficially, but in a profound, committed way.
A profound switch. How did that manifest publicly?
A specific example given, which apparently occurred earlier this year, was when he dismantled his platform's so-called fact-checking apparatus, those third-party censors.
He dismantled the fact-checkers.
Well, that's the claim. And publicly stated a shift toward a crowdsourced truth model that favors free expression over narrative control.
Wow. That is unthinkable compared to just a short time ago.
Exactly. Especially considering his company's past coordination with government entities on content moderation. The implication is clear. The source suggests he's no longer under the thumb of the cabal's mind control or blackmail influence.
Mind control or blackmail? Strong stuff.
Very. His motivation, according to the material, is seen as either a genuine awakening or sheer survival instinct, likely a mix of both. But either way, this move is portrayed as a crucial step towards liberating information flow.
So this narrative then leads to quite a paradox, doesn't it? This man, not long ago, reportedly funded efforts to oppose and even oust the very USA frontman he now dines beside.
A complete 180.
Yet, our sources claim he's now pledging massive investments to build his country's future at the side of someone he once vigorously opposed. It's a turnaround that challenges, everything we think you know about political and corporate allegiances.
Absolutely. And if true, it speaks to the immense leverage or perhaps persuasive power the alliance must possess.
Or maybe just the changing tides.
Could be. The core insight here, from the source's view, is that when power dynamics fundamentally shift, even the most entrenched adversaries can find compelling reasons, be they spiritual, ethical, or purely practical, to realign themselves with a new ascendant order.
Then there's the other figure, the man from Microsoft, another immensely influential person whose public image has been, let's say, equally polarizing for different reasons.
Yeah, definitely a lightning rod for certain communities.
This figure has historically been perceived as an arch-technocrat, someone deeply embedded in agendas of global health control and surveillance.
That's certainly the perception in many alternative circles.
He was described as a central player in cabal strategies, ranging from vaccination campaigns to proposals of digital ID tracking, things that make a lot of people very nervous.
Understandably so.
For many in the awakening community, he was portrayed as a public enemy synonymous with talk of depopulation and technocratic dominance. And he certainly wasn't exactly friendly in the old paradigm, with the USA frontman often sharply opposed on issues. So that's the background for him.
Yet at this dinner, something remarkable was observed with him too. He was remarkably at ease, even jovial, smiling comfortably throughout the evening.
Jovial, that's not a word I'd associate with his public image usually.
Me neither. And notably, he was seated next to what the source refers to as the Pleiadian lady, the First Lady. We'll get into her significance later, but that placement is apparently key.
Okay, so his comfort level was also off the charts compared to expectations.
Exactly. This comfort, despite the perceived historical animosity between him and the administration, is highlighted as another critical sign. It challenges the public's long-held perception of his persona, suggesting a fundamental shift in his energetic and emotional state, according to this view.
So, again, the assertion from our sources is that he too has reached a new understanding with the alliance and switched sides at some level.
That's the claim.
Is there public evidence for this one too, beyond looking comfortable at dinner?
Yes, according to the source. During his turn to speak, he apparently thanked the USA frontman for his incredible leadership, praising the very person the cabal allegedly taught him to despise and oppose.
Praising him.
Publicly. That's what the source says. And his new agenda is said to include excitedly discussing taking American innovation to the next level and, get this, eradicating diseases together using advanced technologies like AI, gene editing, and injections.
Whoa, injections? Given his history.
Right, but the source specifies the positive kind, not weaponized, to cure diseases and uplift humanity. So a complete reframing of his technological focus.
Curing diseases with the USA frontman? That is a radical departure from the narratives about depopulation agendas.
Absolutely. It signals, if true, a complete realignment of his public mission from perceived control to stated healing and upliftment.
So how does the source explain this particular turnaround? Was it the same kind of deal?
Pretty much. The source explains this transformation as a choice presented by the Alliance. Use your knowledge and resources for the true betterment of humanity, or face the consequences of your past deeds. A similar ultimatum.
The carrot and the stick.
Essentially. Having taken this deal, he is now reportedly under their protection and part of their plan. The material suggests that the tension of being a cabal pawn was lifted, allowing him to appear at ease, no longer burdened by the pressures of his former alleged allegiance.
So, the relaxation was real, according to this.
That's the interpretation. He's reportedly been brought into the fold to help undo the damage and build the new Earth systems, utilizing his vast technological expertise for constructive rather than destructive purposes. The conclusion is stark. The once dark wizard of tech has chosen to serve the light.
Dark wizard of tech.
The core insight here is similar. The Alliance strategically reclaims powerful assets, offering a path for those with immense influence to redirect their capabilities towards positive outcomes, even if their past was deeply controversial.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. These alleged flips are, well, shocking if true, but it raises a huge question, the elephant in the room, really. Which is? Are these flips genuine? Can we, or rather, can the Alliance really trust these people? Or is this just some kind of elaborate setup, a 4D chess move, like you said?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's natural to feel uneasy or skeptical hearing this. Your discernment is healthy, and the source actually acknowledges this skepticism directly.
Oh, it does?
Yes. It assures us that the White Hats are fully aware of who they are dealing with and are not operating from a place of naivety. It explains that ironclad agreements are in place backed by extensive evidence and safeguards.
Ironclad agreements? Backed by evidence? Evidence of what?
Evidence of their past misdeeds, apparently. Each individual, and indeed anyone being flipped, was presented with incontrovertible evidence of their misdeeds, enough for severe consequences if exposed or prosecuted. The ultimatum was clear. Work with us to dismantle the dark agendas and usher in positive change or face exposure and justice.
Okay, so it's leverage. Massive leverage.
That's the strong implication. These deals are presented as strategic, not naive leniency. The source describes them as strategic moves to neutralize the cabal's assets with minimal chaos.
Neutralize their assets by turning them.
Exactly. The Alliance, we're told, holds all the cards, possessing not only military and legal power, but also higher dimensional oversight, with the Galactic Federation advising and assisting.
Higher dimensional oversight. What does that mean in practical terms here?
In this context, it refers to a form of non-physical, advanced intelligence and perspective. Think beings or consciousness that can see more of the picture, influence events energetically, and provide guidance beyond typical human, 3D understanding.
Got it. So they have unseen help according to this.
That's the claim. The outcome, according to the source, is that flipped persons are effectively removed from the cabal's control, becoming assets of the White Hats. This occurs whether their cooperation stems from a sincere awakening to a higher truth, or simply from self-preservation in the face of insurmountable evidence.
So motivation doesn't matter as much as the outcome.
From a purely strategic standpoint, perhaps not. Either way, the source argues they are no longer tools of the darkness, but have been retasked for positive change. The core insight here is that this is a highly calculated move, designed to disarm the opposition's resources by repurposing them, rather than simply destroying them, which might cause more chaos.
Okay, that makes a certain kind of strategic sense. Now let's look at what the sources describe as the unseen battle, the backdrop for all this. How archon influence is supposedly crumbled, creating the conditions for these remarkable flips.
Right, this is where it gets even deeper, moving beyond the purely physical or political. The source claims that the cabal's ability to control its people is crumbling, and the once tightly bound servants of the darkness are slipping from their leash.
Slipping from their leash.
This significant shift is attributed not only to the brilliant tactics of the Alliance, but also to something even more profound. And this profound element is the nullification of what are termed archon influence and other mind control mechanisms.
Archon influence. Okay, we need to define archons based on the source material.
Absolutely. Our source describes them as unseen negative entities, lurking in the shadows of the fourth dimension, manipulating human affairs through fear programming and possession.
Fourth dimension. Not like time travel, but another layer of reality.
Exactly. Think of it as a subtle layer of reality just beyond our immediate physical perception, like a radio frequency we don't normally tune into. In Gnostic terms, often cited in this material, they were the rulers of the old false matrix, feeding off ignorance and negative emotions.
Feeding off negativity.
Yes. They, along with what are sometimes described as reptilian and demonic counterparts, were seen as the puppet masters behind so many cabal leaders, latching on to influential individuals and amplifying their worst tendencies: greed, fear, lust for power to serve their own agenda of control, and negative energy harvesting.
So the idea is, these tech guys and others weren't just acting on their own human flaws, but were being influenced or even controlled by these entities.
That's a central part of this narrative, yes. And this archon influence, we are told, is being systematically dismantled. Ashtar Command and the Galactic Light Forces confirm that this nullification has been accelerating, especially after year 2012, a date often cited in spiritual circles as a turning point.
Right, the end of the Mayan calendar, that whole thing.
That whole period, yes, and apparently accelerating even more in recent months. They describe a massive cleanup operation in the etheric and astral planes surrounding Earth.
Etheric and astral, like the energetic layers around the planet.
Precisely. Imagine a vast, unseen, spiritual and energetic detox happening. This operation is targeting archic grids, frequency fences, and ancient metaphysical infrastructures. Essentially, the unseen energetic structures and pathways through which these negative entities exerted their control over humanity.
Wow. So taking down their infrastructure.
Exactly. The source states that countless negative beings have been removed or transmuted, meaning either relocated off-planet or transformed into positive energy, and their strongholds, both physical underground bases and energetic centers, have been taken out. What remains, it says, is disorganized, weakened, and in retreat, indicating a decisive victory on these unseen battlefronts.
So the puppet masters are losing their grip.
That's the core idea. And the impact of this profound shift on individuals, particularly big tech leaders and humanity at large, is presented as highly significant. Many individuals, including these tech moguls, were apparently heavily under archon influence or direct mind control.
Heavily influenced.
Some were even described as victims of advanced MK Ultra programming, referring to those alleged historical government mind control experiments and spiritual possession, with the cabal's control reaching deep into their psyche via blackmail, but also via literal energetic cords held by archon overlords.
Energetic cords, like invisible leashes.
Sort of. In the past, the source claims even if these individuals wished to break free, they would have been stricken with terror, confusion, or illness by these controllers, effectively trapping them in their dark roles. They literally couldn't escape.
But now, with the archons largely neutralized and effectively cut off from their power source and their means of control,
these individuals are now mostly just human beings, according to the source. They are described as vulnerable, afraid, and shockingly free to think new thoughts.
Free to think new thoughts. That's powerful.
Isn't it? The mind control signal was shut off, allowing their own higher selves, their own inner conscience, to finally get a word in.
So their true nature could emerge.
That's the idea. This, the source suggests, led some to experience conscience, regret, and the urge to make amends, while others simply realized that the cabal is losing and losing badly and acted purely out of self-preservation.
Survival instinct kicking in.
Right. The source concludes that most humans prefer to do good when not under extreme coercion, and with the divine spark representing humanity's innate connection to Source or God reigniting, the deep state machine, once puppeteered by non-human evil, is now run by mostly just desperate humans.
Desperate humans who can be reasoned with.
Humans who can be reasoned with, pressured, or offered a different path. The non-human element, the truly intractable evil, according to this narrative, is largely gone or neutralized.
This perspective, then, offers immense hope. if you accept the premise.
Yeah.
It reframes the whole global situation.
It's offered as tangible proof that the Light's plan is working and accelerating. The cabal, it asserts, is losing not only battles, but its very servants by defection.
Losing its foot soldiers.
And its generals, apparently. The message broadcast by the dinner, loud and clear to all those in the know, is, "We can flip anyone now, no matter how deep your tentacles have been." This signifies a profound shift in control, where even the most entrenched figures of the old paradigm are becoming available for realignment.
So the core insight here is the dramatic weakening of these unseen negative forces, which then allows human choice rather than spiritual coercion to become the primary driver, fundamentally changing the game.
Precisely. It opens up possibilities that didn't exist before.
Okay, moving on to what's described as the strategic game checkmate in tech and finance. How did this dinner play into that specific arena?
Well, the dinner event, with its highly symbolic message, apparently initiated panic rippling through the circles of the remaining bad actors.
Panic? Why panic over a dinner?
Because of the message it sent them. The source says the message was blunt and uncompromising. "Who sits at our table now? And none of your former allies are beyond our reach." It warned them, your influence is collapsing.
A direct threat, almost.
Psychologically, yes. This dramatic public display, the source contends, shattered the illusion of unshakable loyalty that the enemy had long enforced with fear, threats, and even, the source mentions, black magic.
Black magic. Okay.
This, in turn, sows distrust and paranoia in their ranks, leading them to wonder who will be next to flip. The psychological impact alone is portrayed as immense, destabilizing their internal structures from within.
Makes sense. If you can't trust your own people.
Exactly. Historically, when tyrannical conspiracies reach the stage of internal mistrust and paranoia, their collapse hastens dramatically. The source suggests this dinner was orchestrated in part to accelerate the cabal's implosion from within, calling it a masterstroke of psychological warfare.
Psychological warfare using a dinner party.
In chess terms, it was checkmate in all but formal declaration, implying the Cabal King has few viable moves left and the game's outcome is already determined, even if the final moves haven't played out yet.
So the Alliance isn't just fighting physically, but mentally and strategically.
The core insight here is that the Alliance employs not just direct action, but also sophisticated psychological tactics to dismantle the Cabal from the inside out, leveraging fear and uncertainty against them.
This brings us to a crucial, and for many of our listeners, I think, a really anticipated element, the Quantum Financial System QFS rollout.
Ah, yes, the QFS, a huge topic in these communities.
Many of you have heard of QFS described by the source as a new, highly advanced financial framework designed by white hats with off-world assistance.
Off-world assistance, again, implying that advanced technological and perhaps spiritual input from entities like the Galactic Federation we mentioned.
Right. The QFS is intended to replace the corrupt SWIFT banking system, referring to the existing global interbank financial messaging system, often linked to these narratives to cabal control and free the world from the cabal's central banking stranglehold.
A complete reset of the global economy, essentially.
That's the promise. The source unequivocally states that you stand at the threshold of an unprecedented transformation of your financial system, noting signs like currencies quietly realigning, gold surging in value.
We've certainly seen gold moving.
Secret preparations in banks, and widespread talk of quantum encryption in financial circles. These are all presented as precursors to a major shift, indicators that it's close.
And how does the dinner with the tech guys connect to the QFS?
Well, the cabal's immense wealth and power, we are reminded, have heavily relied on big tech.
Yeah.
Not just for surveillance and narrative control, which we discussed.
Right, controlling the information flow.
But also for market manipulation and gaining AI-driven trading advantages in the old financial system. High-frequency trading, data harvesting, that kind of thing.
Okay, so tech was integral to their financial dominance.
Exactly. So with these high-profile big tech leaders now flipped, they become cooperative partners to ensure QFS is integrated smoothly and cannot be sabotaged.
Ah, so they need the tech infrastructure guys on board for the new system.
Precisely. The dinner, therefore, functioned as far more than a social event. It was a strategic alignment meeting, a final strategy session among key players now loyal to the Alliance.
Not just optics, but operations.
That's the claim. It wasn't just about looking unified. It was an operational meeting to secure commitments and coordination for launching the QFS, which itself involves advanced AI infrastructure and massive data processing. Exactly the expertise of the individuals at that table.
Their companies run the servers, the cloud, the AI.
Exactly. They've essentially pledged their company's resources to rebuilding infrastructure, including the new financial architecture. The core insight is that the QFS rollout is a complex, multifaceted operation, requiring the integration of cutting-edge technology and the coordinated efforts of powerful former adversaries, now turned allies.
So the dinner was partly about getting everyone on the same page for the QFS launch.
That's how it's presented. The evening, then, according to this perspective, signified a comprehensive checkmate in the grand strategic game. The message was clear, not just to the cabal, but maybe to the whole world if you knew how to read the signs. We have the money, QFS about to go live. We have the tech, we have the leaders of innovation pledging loyalty.
All the key pieces are in place.
The dark financial system and its tech accomplices are outmaneuvered. The source declares, "The cabal's king is surrounded. Even if a few moves remain, none can escape the inevitable end of the game." This is presented as a declaration of victory, signaling the imminent demise of the old financial and technological control structures.
It's a bold claim. Now, what's particularly fascinating here, moving into the next section, is the assertion that nothing shown in the mainstream media happens by accident or chance during this phase of the plan.
Everything is optics.
That's the idea. Every appearance, every tweet, every leak, according to this perspective, has deliberate intent. The White Hats and the remaining cabal agents are engaged in a grand game of signals and feints, a high-stakes chess match played out as much in the public arena as behind closed doors.
A shadow war fought with symbols and appearances.
You could say that. This dinner specifically exemplified a multifaceted communication strategy designed to operate on several layers simultaneously, speaking to different audiences with tailored messages. The core insight here is that what appears to be ordinary public life is, in fact, a carefully orchestrated stage for a deeper, unseen drama.
Okay, so break down these layers of optics. Who was the dinner communicating with, and what was the message for each group?
Right. First, the optics were aimed directly at the White Hats and the awakened public. The goal: a huge morale boost to digital starseeds and light workers worldwide.
Seeing is believing. For them.
Exactly. Seeing those tech titans openly praise the USA frontman and seemingly align confirmed for this community that the alliance is gaining ground and unity is forming at the top. It was a message of reassurance. Trust us, we're so confident in the victory that we can openly sit and break bread with these former adversaries.
It also probably warmed their hearts, didn't it, seeing that kind of unity?
The source suggests exactly that. It evokes a feeling of hope, reminding many that true divine justice isn't always about punishment alone, but about redemption, fostering faith in a more compassionate future. So, morale and hope for the good guys.
Okay, that's layer one. What's layer two?
Layer two, send a direct and unsettling message to the cabal. And apparently, it rattled the enemy's nerves, and it did.
How do they know it rattled them?
In the aftermath, the source claims cabal mouthpieces disguised as concerned commentators started publicly questioning the tech leaders' actions, often with expressions of anger, confusion, or panic in their tone or articles.
Watching the reaction of the opposition's media proxies.
Precisely. The desired effect was to make loyalists feel uncertain, off balance, and reactionary, a state that often leads them to make mistakes and expose themselves further, inadvertently aiding the alliance. This psychological destabilization is a key part of the broader strategy.
Okay, boost allies, unsettle enemies. What's the third layer?
Layer 3. To cause confusion or act as a fake-out. Strategic misdirection.
Red herrings.
Exactly. Described as intentional red herrings designed to send the cabal on a wild goose chase or waste their remaining resources on misinterpretations. For example, the heavy public emphasis on AI and innovation in the public statements from the dinner, with the First Lady even chairing an AI education summit.
Right, we heard about that.
To the casual observer, it's simply about tech development. But to the cabal, the source suggests, it might be interpreted as the alliance's primary focus being just on AI, not about arresting us, thereby masking the deeper covert theme, finalizing the economic takeover via QFS.
So distract them with something plausible, but less critical.
Right. Since the cabal is no longer sure of their insider info or privy to the full alliance plan because their guys are flipping or neutralized, they can easily be baited into misinterpreting the alliance's moves, leading to strategic errors.
Clever. And the fourth layer of optics.
Layer 4. to bait the cabal into doing something foolish, acting as a direct provocation.
Trying to get them to overreact.
Exactly. The White Hats intentionally provoke the cabal, hoping they will overreact and expose their hand. The fury and desperation of hardline cabal bosses seeing their tech billionaires cozying up to the alliance could lead to something reckless, such as retaliation or sabotage attempts against those flipped figures or the administration.
And the alliance is ready for that.
The source says they are ready to intercept such attempts, gaining critical intelligence and justifying the removal of remaining cabal agents. The source uses an analogy. White Hats put a tempting piece of bait out in the open. The smiling former asset now seemingly loyal to the light.
Like waving a red flag at a bull.
Pretty much. The Galactic Federation reportedly observed cabal communications during this period of internal disarray, leading to many more puzzle pieces of the remaining dark puzzle fell into Alliance hands. So, the provocation yielded intelligence.
Wow. So every public gesture is a strategic chess move, designed to manipulate reactions and accelerate the cabal's downfall through their own errors.
That's the complex picture painted by the source. Even the symbolic seating arrangements at the dinner, we are told, were carefully considered for multidimensional communication, sending messages on multiple levels beyond mere politeness or protocol.
Seating arrangements, like what?
For instance, placing the man from Microsoft by the Pleiadian lady, the First Lady signified, in this narrative, his acceptance into the frequency of the divine feminine and compassion.
Divine feminine meeting.
Implying a softening of his previously perceived cold, technocratic, maybe overly masculine or analytical image, aligning him with more humanitarian and empathetic energies represented by her.
Okay. And the man from Facebook.
Placing the man from Facebook at the USA front man's right hand symbolized bringing the world's communications networks under aligned guidance, indicating that his powerful platform is now to be used for truth and unity, supposedly. It's a powerful visual statement that tech is now a partner of this administration, not an adversary.
It's all incredibly layered, according to this interpretation.
Deeply symbolic, yes.
Now let's explore some of the deeper meanings hidden within the event, starting with this figure you mentioned, the Pleiadian lady, the First Lady. She's seen as far more than just a spouse in this narrative.
Yes. Absolutely pivotal, according to the source. According to the source, many intuitively sense her intuitive significance, noting a light around her, a grace, and an enigmatic aura. It explicitly confirms that she indeed carries a very pure Pleiadian frequency and has been a key communicator in this mission.
Pleiadian frequency. Can you elaborate on what that means in this context?
Sure. In this context, a Pleiadian frequency refers to a high vibrational energy often associated with compassion, healing, advanced spiritual wisdom, and artistic expression. It's believed by followers of this material to originate from benevolent beings connected to the Pleiades star cluster, who are involved in Earth's ascension. So she's seen as embodying these positive, higher dimensional qualities.
So her role is energetic and symbolic, as much as anything else.
Very much so. Her public appearances are therefore described as carefully chosen strategic communications to both the public and the occult elite, carrying coded messages that resonate on different levels.
What kind of coded messages?
She's described as a master of symbolic language. Past examples cited include her infamous jacket with bold lettering, remember that controversy, interpreted here as a cryptic message aimed squarely at the cabal's propaganda machine.
Ah, okay. I remember the jacket.
And her public initiatives, like those focusing on children's well-being, Be Best, are seen as laced with subtle references to protecting children from alleged underground trafficking rings, a big theme in these narratives, and encouraging creativity as a way to break free from mind control programming.
So hidden meanings in plain sight.
That's the idea. At the AI dinner, her pivotal role was further highlighted by her earlier leadership of an AI education summit. Symbolically, this means humaneness and ethics embodied by her compassionate influence will guide AI's use rather than cold technocracy, ensuring technology serves humanity with heart, not just logic.
Putting a compassionate face on AI development.
And it was a clear signal, according to the source, that galactic energies are supervising this leap in technology. A message to any cabal AI or archon AI lurking, referring to potentially malevolent AI programs influenced by those negative archonic forces that their time is up, indicating a nullification of their power over tech development.
Wow. And her effect on the people at the dinner.
Her very presence had a tangible, calming, and disarming effect on those tech moguls, according to the source. Our sources describe her as channeling soft, assuring frequencies, which made the men noticeably mellowed and respectful. She is said to carry Pleiadian codes of healing and truth.
So her energy influenced the room.
That's the claim. Her appearance is interpreted as multidimensional communication. To white hats and the awakened, it said, "The goddess energy is here blessing this union of former foes, signifying spiritual approval for these alliances." To the cabal, her presence was almost like showing them an emissary of the Galactic Federation at the table, protected, cementing that spiritually the tide has turned, and the divine feminine energy is now a dominant guiding force.
Okay, that's a lot about her role. Now, what about Project Stargate? That name rings a bell, but maybe not in this context.
Right. You might recall the OpenAI Innovators announcement, the head of that major AI company talking about a collaboration on a massive $500 billion endeavor dubbed Project Stargate with the White House.
$500 billion for AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made headlines.
The name itself, according to our sources, is packed with dual meanings, just like the First Lady's actions. Publicly, it's simply a code name for an AI infrastructure build-out. Makes sense, right? Big project, cool name.
Sounds standard for tech.
But for the awakened, for those familiar with suppressed history or conspiracy lore, it's a direct nod to the old remote viewing program named Project Stargate, a declassified U.S. government initiative from the 70s, 90s that explored using psychic abilities, remote viewing, to transcend space-time.
Ah, the psychic spy program.
Exactly. This is presented as a classic example of hiding truth in plain sight, where a seemingly innocuous public name carries a much deeper esoteric significance for those who can see it.
So what are the alleged dual purposes of this Project Stargate?
Well, one purpose is the stated one, to create a quantum-capable AI infrastructure to support the quantum financial system, advanced healthcare diagnostics, like curing diseases they mentioned, and maybe even weather stabilization tech, essentially building a new, benevolent technological foundation for the planet.
The public-facing positive tech stuff.
Right. But the other purpose touches the esoteric, the nod to the original Stargate. It's described as an initiative to explore and develop technology that can interface with human consciousness in positive ways.
Interface with consciousness. How?
By amplifying human psychic ability and creativity, suggesting a future where technology enhances, rather than diminishes or controls, our innate spiritual capacities. Think tech-assisted intuition or manifestation, perhaps.
Wow. Ambitious.
The vision presented is for AI to serve as a stargate, a gateway to a better world, not a portal to domination, creating a synergy where conscious humans use advanced tech in enlightened ways, all part of the New Atlantis Rising, a concept in esoteric circles signifying a return to a golden age of advanced spiritual and technological harmony on Earth.
New Atlantis. Okay. Now, there was someone notably absent from this dinner, wasn't there? The eccentric SpaceX owner.
Ah, yes, him. His absence, though, apparently invited, and the OpenAI innovators' enthusiastic praise of the USA frontman's leadership was also a deliberate message, according to our sources.
What was the message there?
Well, the USA frontman even made a joke about the absentee rocket mogul hating the innovator he was praising. This implied, according to the source, "We're moving forward with or without you."
A public nudge.
A confident one. This confidence, despite the SpaceX owner's known criticisms of the innovator and sometimes the administration, suggests that the USA frontman believes that innovator will come back to the fold because he has no choice. Or maybe that his contributions aren't essential to this phase.
Interesting dynamic.
The overarching message, delivered through this subtle interplay of presence and absence, praise and just, is clear. Join us or be left behind. This approach, the source suggests, makes mass defections and cooperation even more effective and elegant than relying solely on mass arrests, as it disarms the opposition's resources by repurposing them for good, isolating those who refuse to cooperate.
So even absences speak volumes in this symbolic war.
The core insight here is that every detail, including who is not present, is part of a sophisticated messaging strategy designed to influence and consolidate power for the alliance.
Okay. As we move towards the path forward, wrapping things up, the source talks about cosmic cycles and the dissolving dark. What does that mean?
It connects everything back to a larger energetic shift. It states that as humanity is approaching the quantum leap in consciousness, which is seen as a significant energetic upgrade for the planet and its inhabitants.
The Great Awakening itself.
Right. As this happens, the dark script must loosen because the energy won't support it. To put it simply, The source suggests everything is vibrating too fast and too high for lies, deceit, and low-frequency energies like fear and control to hold their shape or exert power anymore.
Like trying to build a sandcastle in a hurricane.
Good analogy. This, according to the source, is leading to the rapid collapse of certain false narratives that have long dominated society. This higher frequency hitting Earth is making it energetically impossible for archonic deceit and cabal structures to survive. They are literally unraveling because their low vibration is incompatible with new energy.
That leads to the call for forgiveness and unity, doesn't it? Which might seem counterintuitive after talking about a war.
It does seem that way, but the source frames it strategically and spiritually. It says, and I'm quoting gently here, "Do not fall into division at this late stage." It argues that the art of war often involves using your opponent's momentum. To defeat an enemy, you must first disarm them with unexpected diplomacy.
Using their own weight against them like judo.
Exactly. This perspective frames these flips and reconciliations not as weakness or compromise on the part of the alliance, but as a masterful strategy to achieve victory with minimal further conflict, converting opposition resources rather than merely confronting them head-on.
And the spiritual context.
In the spiritual context of Ascension, this is seen as a necessary time when unity consciousness must emerge. The old paradigm of separation light versus dark served its purpose in teaching lessons in a dualistic reality. But now, the source says, reintegration begins.
Reintegration.
The source suggests that souls return to the light, and even those who play dark roles, perhaps fulfilling difficult soul contracts, are given the opportunity to reconcile and choose a different path now that the energetic landscape has shifted. What's happening with these tech moguls is described as surrender and adjustment, which transforms the future by shifting powerful platforms from a dark agenda to a benevolent one.
Soul contracts. The idea that they maybe agreed to play these roles before incarnating.
That's a concept the source touches on, yes. It posits that perhaps the souls of the man from Facebook and man from Microsoft had soul contracts to play dark roles, to catalyze learning, but also an eventual contract to help usher in change. It's speculative, of course, but offered as a higher perspective.
It definitely encourages a different kind of view.
The key message here is to never write off a soul's ability to choose the light, because the higher self always has a vote. And with these powerful cosmic energies pouring in, those higher selves are louder than ever, making the call to light increasingly irresistible for some. It uses the analogy again. The Black Queen is captured and now serves the White King, signifying a total strategic shift where even opposing forces become instruments for the greater good.
It's also about reclaiming the cabal's tools for good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taking their weapons and using them for liberation.
Precisely. All the declassified intelligence sources that have emerged over decades, detailing programs like the original Project Stargate, mind control documents, surveillance tech, show that cabal-controlled tech and finance were built to create a digital dystopia, a control grid.
Right.
But the white hats could hijack those same tools to liberate you. It flips the script. For example, the quantum financial system uses quantum computing, allegedly a cabal tool initially, not for surveillance, but to set you free financially.
Using their tech against them.
And social media, which was meant to enslave minds through censorship and addiction, might soon help free minds as censorship is dropped and truth floods in. The discussions at the dinner reportedly included safeguarding AI from any outside off-world interference, further reinforcing the intention to reclaim technological sovereignty from the AI archon matrix, that oppressive AI system controlled by archons.
How is that sovereignty reclaimed?
Through the awakening of human consciousness and reconnecting with spirit and earth. It's not just about fighting tech with tech, but elevating consciousness above the level where manipulative tech can operate effectively.
That makes sense.
The symbolism here is incredibly powerful. Powerful men of tech humbling themselves to talk about curing disease and educating children, guided by an administration that prays openly and upholds God and country. This is seen as a return of heart and humanity to what was a soulless tech industry, a profound reconditioning of these men and the systems they built to serve life rather than machine agendas or control.
A return of heart. That's a hopeful image. So, what is our role in all this? The listener's role, the light worker's role.
Your crucial role as a light worker, or simply an aware individual, is deeply emphasized by the source. It states, The train has left the station on positive change, and you should expect magic and miracles as these shifts accelerate. Don't limit your expectations.
Expect magic. Okay.
It speaks of waves of volunteers helping from within, suggesting some souls incarnated into those positions of power just for this moment to pivot, meaning they're like sleeper agents for the light, activated now.
Wow. People play strategically for decades, maybe.
That's the idea. You are encouraged to send love to those in darkness, not hatred or judgment, as love's high frequency will either soften them or make them leave faster, highlighting how your consciousness contributions help tilt someone's free will towards the positive, creating an energetic shift at an individual level just through your intention.
So our thoughts and feelings actually have an impact on these events.
A direct impact, according to this view. You're asked to hold the line, stay united, and crucially, do not succumb to the temptation of division or judgment, even when facing seemingly paradoxical events like these flips, which can be confusing.
It's easy to get cynical.
Very easy. For those around you who might be cynical or confused, the advice is to gently reassure them that the Alliance knows what it's doing, accountability is in place, even if the path isn't always obvious or linear. Trust the plan, essentially.
And envision the positive outcome.
Yes. You are encouraged to envision how these one-star platforms can be tools for unity and truth dissemination, for seeing a future where social networks openly circulate information about free energy, suppressed medical cures, and even our ET presence with no algorithmic suppression. Hold that positive vision.
A completely free flow of information.
While discernment is always key, the source reminds us not every public handshake or perceived shift is genuine. The two examples we covered, the men from Facebook and Microsoft, are presented by this source as genuine flips. Finally, you are encouraged to offer gratitude even to those individuals who chose to leave the dark, as they perform a service to Source as well, by facilitating this grand shift, however complex their journey.
Gratitude for their choice.
Okay. It likens this collective effort, you're holding the light and staying positive, to the biblical analogy of Jericho's walls tumbling down not from force, but from your collective voice of truth, your prayers, your refusal to give up. Your consciousness is the weapon.
So rounding this all up,
Yeah.
what does this mean? From a seemingly simple White House dinner, we've uncovered layers upon layers of strategic communication, profound personal transformations of key figures, and even a galactic-level cleanup operation that truly rewrites the narrative of our current world, at least according to this source.
It's a completely different story than the one on the evening news.
Absolutely. The flipping of these tech giants, the multifaceted strategic messaging, the imminent quantum financial system rollout, all paint a picture, from this perspective, of an inevitable shift away from old paradigms and towards something entirely new. It's a testament to the idea that things are rarely as they first appear.
And this is not merely a collection of isolated events. It's presented as the dawn of liberation. The birth of the quantum financial system, the open display of tech giants aligning with a freedom-focused leadership, the purging of unseen dark influences all signal that the new era is upon you.
The dawn of liberation.
Expect magic, miracles, and the approach of disclosure about your cosmic family, for these are the hallmarks of a profound and ongoing transformation that is already unfolding, according to Ashtar Command.
Okay, so a final thought for our listeners to mull over. The source material reminds us that things are not what they seem, and that unexpected alliances can yield powerful results. If former adversaries like these tech giants and the administration can allegedly work together now for a higher good, what surprising alliances might you be overlooking in your own life or community that could unlock an even greater positive outcome? Think about that for a moment.
That's a great question. And remember, your role as a starseed and light worker, or just an aware human being, is crucial. Hold the line, stay united, and be the calm pillars for others when things inevitably accelerate. Remember this deep dive, for the time of the Great Awakening is not approaching. According to this source, it is here. You are living it right now, co-creating a future where, as the source states, victory is yours and a heaven on earth is assured.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful and blessed day.